Unleash your potential with MetaMindStream, disrupting possibilities. Dive into the fusion of positive neuroscience and business strategies with Anne Scottlin and Dr. Lyman Montgomery. Break free from limiting beliefs, expand extraordinary lives, and boost business profitability.
Hello and welcome to MetaMindStream. This is a brand new show and I'm so excited to have you with us today, here with myself and Dr. Lyman Montgomery. We're here to disrupt what's possible and the limitations that people set, and we're specifically focused on business. So let me just give you a tiny insight about how the show is going to work. So Focused MetaMindset, our company, is a company that merges neuroscience and actionable business steps to create solutions that we often have disregarded. Our tagline is Profitability Simplified. So here in MetaMindStream, which of course is a play on our company name, Focused MetaMindset, we are going to give you actionable business steps using neuroscience to make your business better and raise your bottom line. Then that's going to be our first segment. And in our second segment, we are going to have fun. It's going to be the MetaMindset lifestyle where we really get disruptive and we're talking about everything under the sun. Taboo topics, untaboo, religion, history, philosophy, what it takes to take our mindset to the next level and change the way we live our life. So much of our lives we've lived in a box based on what we believe is possible. And that's why we say we're disrupting what's possible. So I'm going to turn it over to Lyman. Hi, Lyman, and you're going to introduce us to today's business strategy. How are you?
Thank you, Anne. I'm so glad. This has been a long time coming. The goal of the business segment is really talking about how your brain can not only just influence business decisions, but sometimes the brain can get in the way of business decisions. It's sort of like our tagline, disrupting what's possible. A lot of times people may have a sense of moving in the right direction with a business idea and they talk themselves out of it. Then there's time where they jump off the cliff and think about, maybe I should have gave this a little bit more thought. In today's business segment, we'll talk about how the brain can get in the way sometimes of making those critical business decisions, with the goal in mind to think about, talk about, then be about.
Say that again. I love that.
The goal in the business segment is to not only think about it, talk about it, but then to be about it.
I love that so much.
Think about an idea, we communicate that idea, and at some point we have to act on that idea. So again, think about it, talk about it, but then be about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, Lyman. And what we're going to bring you next are actionable steps in today's business segment, something you can apply literally while you're listening to us today. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Unleash the power of Focused MetaMindset lunch and learn sessions. Sharpen problem-solving skills, spark innovation, foster collaboration, and build adaptability and resilience. Elevate your team's success and profits. Discover more at www.focusedmetamindset.com.
Welcome back here on MetaMindStream. And Dr. Lyman Montgomery was just about to introduce us to some actionable steps that can make a difference in your business and help you raise your bottom line. Lyman?
Absolutely. Thank you. You know, one of the things that we tend to disagree about, and that is taking action over really pontificating or really, I know you spend a lot of time in idolation, right? Where you will think about something, and I'm the opposite. I'm going to jump out the airplane and worry about building the parachute later. And what makes this work is when we come together and say, wait a minute, before you jump, why don't you spend a little bit more time thinking about it? And I'm like, but I want to get there. And so today's segment, before the break, we talked about think about it, talk about it, then be about it. Now, there's a part of the brain called the amygdala. And the amygdala is a small little almond-shaped part of the brain that controls our emotion. It is the part of the brain that allows us to be aware. The problem is sometimes the amygdala can hijack our nervous system. And what I mean by that is, have you ever went to a car lot and you saw this car and you said, oh my God, I'm the only one? So you buy the car, and as soon as you drive off the lot, you notice a similar car.
That always happens
blocks.
to me. That always happens
You
to
go
me.
2 blocks, there's another car. But you thought you were the only one. What happened? Did everyone decide to purchase your car? No. The part of that brain, the amygdala, has been heightened. So now you're just more aware of your surroundings. Now, that was great when we lived in caves and we were afraid of being eaten by tigers and lions and bears and things that go bump in the night. Well, that part of our brain has a propensity to still hijack our system, especially when we are unsure about a decision.
Now,
Now,
why does it do that, Dr. Lyman? Why does it hijack it?
It hijacks it because we are oversensitive, because we're more aware. So now we start seeing things we didn't see before. We start hearing things because we have a heightened sense of hearing, heightened sense of thought, of sight. And so now everything reminds us of, wait a minute, I thought I was the only one. It's the same way with my wife, for example. She would buy a dress and go to a dinner party. The worst thing that can happen is to see what? Another person with that dress on. Even similar. Now, I'm oblivious to it. I'm like, well, what's wrong? Hey, that's pretty cool. She's like, no, take me home. She has on my dress. Now, in other settings, they probably would have said, hey, that's nice. I have the same outfit. But you don't want to be in the same surrounding or proximity with someone else having something that you felt was yours. So the same thing happens with a business idea where you think you're the only one that has this great idea and you thought about it. Now you want to move into talking about it, and you start talking with a friend or a colleague and they say, well, you know, John has a similar product or similar service. Now, Anne, sometimes you and I will disagree. How long should you spend in ideation? Ideation, excuse me.
Ideation. Okay, I was like,
Ideation.
adulation? Well,
Yes.
you can adulate all you like, but I was like, I've taken up a new religion, apparently.
Ideation.
Ideation. Yeah, ideation. So yeah, this is where we're definitely different. And this is where it's great to have a business partner who balances each other out. So yeah, I'm the kind of person, ideation is a huge strength of mine. I'm a born problem solver, strategizer, but I could spend 95% of my time easily in ideation if I didn't have my partner saying, we got to get this thing out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where it's great to have someone on your team that's opposite, to have someone like yourself that will go through every piece of a project with a fine-tooth comb, but then also have someone like me to like, I'm like that kid, right? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because remember, I believe that progress is better than perfection.
So let me ask you this. So when my amygdala, so that's my word of the day, that I get it out right, is hijacked, and it's causing a disruption in my business. Give me a business example of when that happens.
Sure. Here's a classic business example that I started talking about. You have this great idea. You've been thinking about this idea for 3 months. You feel that it's God inspired, universe inspired. No one else has thought about this. Okay. And you go to let's say it's a group of business leaders, right? Round table, Chamber of Commerce meeting. And you're like, listen, I have this phenomenal idea. No one has thought of this. And I believe it could make millions of dollars. They're like, well, tell me the idea. What is it? Water in a bottle. Now imagine 30, 40 years ago when someone had that idea. People thought you were, wait a minute. Are you telling me people would pay for water that is free, and the only difference is you're putting it in a bottle? Yes! Now, how many of us today drink water from a bottle? Now, imagine if that person said, you know what, that was a dumb idea. No one's going to pay to drink water out of a bottle. But now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Excellent example. So if give me an example, one more example. So let's just say in our daily business life. So I think that example of yours was that I would be stuck in ideation mode, but I know that I need to get something out. So this is like writing a book. You and I are both authors. We know how this goes. So I could literally write for the rest of my life on one book. At some point, it's like, okay, someone light a match under me because this book has to get out. Or let's break it down even simpler into just tasks. So sometimes I get really monofocused on one task when I have 10 tasks, and I have a hard time changing tracks. So what can I do when my amygdala is hijacking me in that scenario? What can I do to say switch from project A to project B?
Right. The first thing that I want you to do, Anne, and I want you to listen to me, Anne, because I know it's going to be hard for you. Breathe. Stop, pause, and just center yourself and breathe. Because what happens in the brain is what you call your switching mechanism. That's why, think about your brain as a bank, right? It's at 100%. The more tasks that you work on depletes that amount. So let's say you're working on 4 tasks, you're only given 25% of total concentration at any time to those 4. So if you increase that 4 to 6 to 10, then that means you're only giving 10% of your effort across the board. Wouldn't it be better to give 100% in short spurts to one project? Stop. When I say breathe, what I'm talking about, there has to be a break. You get up, you stretch, maybe go for a short walk, grab a cup of tea, water, or something. It allows the brain to switch gears. Similar to if you're driving a car and you turn your turn signal on, and remember in driver's ed, they say count to 3 or whatever it is before changing lanes, as opposed to an Indy 500 driver where you're like, I think I can get in, and you just, just swerving in and out. And so what I want for you, what I need for you to do, Ann, and I said need, because I know if I say you should, you probably won't do it, is breathe, get up, stretch, allow yourself to grab a cup of water or eat some lettuce or whatever vegans eat.
I live on air, Lyman. I'm breathing all the time.
But deep breathing.
Deep breathing.
And emotion. Amazing. Yeah, and emotion. Because you've noticed that whenever you're stuck, and this is great for writers too, and they have so-called writer's block, it's because they're inundated with focusing so much on trying to get the perfect opening or the perfect close. And sometimes just getting up, getting a different perspective, going outside, listening to nature, and allow that line to come to you, or that closed to come to you. And it will when you're not thinking about it. And
That's
that's, again,
amazing.
part of that switching mechanism in the brain.
Excellent. So this is a great reminder for me to breathe. And I know like so often take 3 deep breaths when I'm switching or when I need to concentrate. So the next time your amygdala is hijacking you, remember, take 1, 2, 3 deep breaths, just reset. So we're going to come back. This is the end of our business segment. We're going to come back to the really fun segment in a minute, which is MetaMindset Lifestyle. So we hope you got some great pointer there for the business section. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Unleash the power of strategic neuroscience with Focused MetaMindset Inc. Boost your decision-making, sales, sustainable growth, and customer engagement. Scan the QR code now for an exclusive consultation. Elevate your profitability with Focused MetaMindset Inc.
Welcome back again to MetaMindStream. We're so excited to have you here today. We hope you enjoyed the business segment. And now we get to jump into the fun stuff, which is the MetaMindset Lifestyle segment. Lyman, what do you want to talk about today?
You know, there's this concept of opposites attract, right?
Yeah.
But can they also detract? Especially if, let's say, for example,
You mean like repel?
repel, yes. Can they detract you from achieving maybe your business goals? For example, let's say I'm the type of person, I love to work, which I do. And I'm the type of person that I'm a homebody, which I am. But my partner is the opposite. My partner, 9 to 5, get home from work, don't want to think about work, and wants to go outside, go to dinner, go on vacations, and married to someone that a vacation is a workstation, right? Workcation, where,
Yeah.
he or she or they have laptops and they're sitting on a beach and they're trying to figure out a way, can I write this off?
Yes, no, because usually it's my partner who's doing that on the beach, and then he's wailing because he's trying to hold his phone up so he can get a hotspot, and he's like, I can't get this thing. I have to write this email now." I'm like, "We're on vacation. We've just given up. We've been just calling it workation. We gave up."
Yes, yes, yes. And so, that's something to really think about because they say most marriages end not necessarily because of infidelity, but because of finances. But I
Mm,
really think it's communication.
mm.
They either shut down, they stop communicating, or it could be a situation where they're so opposite that, yes, that attracts. I love the fact that my wife is very stable. She has a critical eye until that eye turns on me. But it makes sense. She's an auditor for the state, right? That's what she do. She looks at policies and she's a black and white individual. Either you did it or you didn't. You either comply or you didn't, right? We live in this world where of professional development. Where, well, maybe they had a bad childhood. Maybe someone didn't give them a hug or something. And she's like, it don't matter. They didn't do it. They didn't honor their word. They lack integrity.
Yeah. Oof.
But we work well together.
Yeah. So it can be opposites attract or retract or repel. So I guess one of the things I would say is when we're working with our clients, but also when we're working in our own lives at home, how do we use a meta mindset? Let's talk for just a second about what a meta mindset is. And then we're going to bring that back to this discussion about partners and relationships of all kinds and opposites. So a meta mindset, if this is a new idea to any of you, and you can email us, message us. We can't wait to start getting your messages and responding. Meta mindset is going above and beyond a normal mindset. Because, normally we say, oh, if you just have a positive attitude, you'll be fine. Your work will be better. Well, it might be true, but it's also a little non-specific. A lot of people pretend to be positive when they're really miserable on the inside. That doesn't actually achieve what we're talking about. A meta mindset is, what can I change in my lifestyle and my habits so that I can actually be literally a positive, happier person? That's what we call going meta. So this is an example of going meta, going above and beyond, going to the next level. I love something that Lyman said to me the other day, which was going meta is realizing that thinking outside the box is the box.
Yes.
So up until now, we've all think we're so progressive and we're making all these radical changes in our lives. And yet we're still only just got out of a smaller box into a bigger box. So we're talking meta is breaking out of the boxes altogether. And, because so much progress has become the norm, right? Right, Lyman?
Absolutely. And sometimes those boxes remind me of those Russian dolls, right? Where it's like they're normally like a cat or something, where you open up one and there's another one inside of that one, and there's another one inside of that one, until you get down to this real small little ornament or something. And our lives are that way. Some have said men are like waffles and women are like spaghetti. In our thought processes, men, we love to compartmentalize, right? We love to put things in a nice little box. I know this box. I've cleaned this box.
I think you're compartmentalizing right now, Lyman.
I probably am, but that's okay. See, having that spaghetti mindset, that's why y'all can touch on 20 different things. And I think the real issue is, and we can't do it, or we're not as good at it.
It's true.
My wife, for example.
To an extent. So since this is supposed to be a bumpy show and we're going to talk about anything, I will say it is definitely, understand what you're saying and our predilection to doing different things. But in my household, I would actually say it's the opposite, because I am very
well, see, you threw away the box. You blew up the box.
I'm just saying. There you go.
Yeah.
And he can multitask beyond all measure. I mean, there might be a little ADD involved with that, but
I started the Association Against Multitasking. All right. And I have a membership of over 5 million. But the problem is they haven't shown up for one meeting yet. Because they're stuck in their box, right? Because we get comfortable with the box. Think about it. Most people, they tend to be men, get comfortable with our boxes. And so we come along and say, hey, there's freedom outside of the box. And what do? We go and build another box. It's called a man cave.
Or golf. Oh,
or
did
golf.
I say that?
Yes. Or whatever. It's still a box. It's the place that we want to go to get away from the world. And we really don't want you in the box.
Ooh,
and the problem
I'm jumping into the box. I'm jumping into your space right now. I'm jumping into your box. I'm jumping in your box. Okay. So one of the things you're talking about men and being compartmentalized, one of the things that I think is really interesting in post-COVID world is the amount of men now who are working remotely.
Yes.
Because there is a whole new set of challenges and personal growth going on right now, because they used to be able to go to the office, and many women also, but especially men, it's interesting to see. Women have been multitaskers in many ways because of family and work and business, and because we're supposed to be superwoman, but for men, they're like, oh, what do you do all day? They go to the office, they come back. It's clear separation between like family, work, business. And I know that I'm thinking of someone in my extended family right now, who the dad is now home. He's the one taking the kids to and from school. The wife has a job an hour away, and he's working from home. So all of us, and he got a puppy. So everything now is like his job, and he's just like, he's reeling. He's just
absolutely. And let me tell you, I get phone calls from friends of mine that have either launched their own business, and the first thing they want to do is, so when do I get to set up an office? I'm like, you don't need an office. No, I got to get out the house.
I got a beach. I got a beach.
Right. You know, can I just have my office on a golf course? Matter of fact, I have a friend of mine, he actually did this. He set his office up at the country club. So if you want to meet him, you literally have to go to the country club, get a couple of holes of golf in, and then talk business. Because during COVID, he literally felt as if he was going stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, but it gave him a great appreciation for his partner. Because now his partner is saying, honey, did you get the dishes done? Did you put the load of laundry in? And he's like, oh, I forgot I was on a call. But when it was reversed, he would come home and say, you've been home all day. What did you do? So I
get
agree
so
with
much
you.
evil glee out of this. I just get so much evil glee. Sorry. No, it's so true.
Disrupting what's possible.
Disrupting what's possible. So now that you know what meta means and what we're talking about when we say what is a meta mindset, and now you understand why this show is called MetaMindStream. We couldn't resist it. Stream of consciousness, meta mindset. You know, this is bringing it all together first in actionable steps for your business using neuroscience, and then in life. So now that we take this piece that we had introduced you today, and we'll keep touching on it in every week, every episode, just to keep you reminded. But so now we bring this piece of going meta back to your illustration, Lyman, of two partners in a relationship, any relationship, especially a romantic relationship where they're opposites, and you get a lot of positives, opposites attract. What do we do when we hit the negatives? Opposites repel, because I do know what that's like. Opposites attract. Yes, that is definitely why my husband and I get along so well. And then once in a while, just words, mind you, but it's just like
Absolutely.
you want to wring their neck.